Hello! Today we're going to be making a lemon lavender pound cake. Now this recipe is kind of fun because you use the whole lemon. Also, it's my first time making this cake, so you are learning it right along with me. For this recipe we'll need lemons, lavender, flour, sugar, eggs, salt, baking powder, butter, sour cream, baking soda, olive oil, and powdered sugar. We're going to go ahead and turn our oven on 350. So the first thing we're going to do, you guessed it, is cream our butter and sugar. So the biggest difference here is since it's a lemon cake, we're actually going to be adding some lemon zest to the sugar. So I'm going to add the sugar and then we're going to zest the lemons into the sugar. You can mix it together with either your fingers or a fork, and then we'll add the butter and then we'll cream it as usual. So I'm going to go ahead and get the lemons and then measure out our sugar. Alright, so we're doing 450 grams of granulated sugar. So I'm just going to measure that out. 450 grams is 2 1/4 cup. And then we're going to zest 4 lemons. I have 5 just in case we need an extra one later in the recipe. We're going to zest 4 of them into the sugar. For a long time I did not have a zester and I just used a really fine cheese grater. It definitely works, but a zester is definitely better. And then this recipe didn't specify like the size of the lemon, large, small, medium. So I just grabbed a bag of organic lemons. They don't have to be organic, but you want them to definitely be like, there's no wax on them or anything like that since we're zesting it. And then you also want to make sure that they're well washed. Yeah, there's no obvious like dirt or anything on it because you don't want that in your cake. Sorry, second camera, I didn't realize you weren't recording. 2 cameras, I forgot to turn on the second one, so I apologize, but now you can watch me zest my lemons. Oh! Don't want to zest our fingers, it's kind of the #1 tip here. No skin in the cake. Alright, last one. I'm really trying really hard not to zest my fingers. So, we're going to chop up these lemons and put them into our food processor. So we're just going to cut off the tops and bottoms and kind of go around the inside with our knife. I think this is just the easiest way to get it all out. I guess I should have cut it in half to get the seeds out too. And we're losing juice. We're losing juice. It's probably better to do this in a bowl. Alright, so we're just going to do it like this so that we don't lose any of the juice. Okay. And it looks like these lemons don't have seeds. So, this is definitely the harder part. I've never peeled a lemon before. So, maybe you can peel them like an orange. Yeah, it's working pretty well. Probably depends on your lemon. And then you don't want any like tough white parts. So we're going to get rid of this inside bit. I'm pretty excited there's no seeds in here. I didn't know that they were seedless lemons, so that's pretty exciting. I was going to use this bowl. I'm going to have to clean it out for my flour. So now that we have peeled all of the lemon, we're just going to go ahead and see if my little food processor can handle doing this. Might take a couple tries. Oh goodness, I don't want to lose out on the juices. Okay. It didn't say pulp, it said chopped up, so I guess we don't have to pulverize it. But I feel like at this point we're kind of committed. Look, a seed. So I'm just going to get it to be pretty small. I do have a bigger food processor, I just thought that this one would work. Okay, now that we've made a mess, We're gonna add the lavender to this, kind of just let it sit and soak. And this was just a commenter on the recipe that suggested adding the lavender. And they did a teaspoon at this stage, so we're gonna do the same thing. And hopefully it comes out well. It's really strong, but it's a big cake. And then we're gonna go ahead and cream together our sugar and our butter. But first we're gonna move this zest, kind of push it into the sugar. And so if you're up for a sensory experience, feel free to use your fingers. There's enough sugar and enough zest that this works perfectly fine as well. And I've made all sorts of zested sugars. I've done orange and lime. It's great if you want to add citrus to a recipe and you don't want to change like the liquid to dry ingredient ratio. You just make a flavored sugar. And so this will work for most anything that you want to add an extra sort of punch of citrus to. Just put it into the sugar. So I'm really just going to do this until I don't see any loose sugar hanging out. And it smells fantastic already. So we're going to measure out our 170 grams of butter. Softened butter, just so you know. Beautiful, very high-tech method. Okay, that's fine. Alright. And then we're just going to cream it together till light and fluffy. 4 minutes is what it says. Scrape this down, make sure we got everything in there. Okay, scrape this down again. And then we're going to add the eggs one at a time and then beat it well after each addition. So you'll see that a lot of baked goods, especially like cakes and muffins and that sort of thing, have the same sort of kind of formula of creaming the butter and sugar, adding the eggs, adding whatever else, and then adding the dry ingredients last, or adding the dry ingredients alternatively with whatever the wet ingredient is, if it's milk. This one has sour cream, but we actually just add it all at once. I'm just going to turn it down and add my egg. These should be room temperature as well. Add our second egg. Scrape down. And yeah, this recipe has 5 eggs, so we're just going to do this 3 more times, making sure to get everything off of the bottom of the bowl. Little tip, if you don't have room temperature eggs, you can just put them in a bowl with hot water and just let them sit a little bit until they're warm. That's what I ended up doing for this. Alright, so now we're going to add our sour cream. It calls for a cup or 230 grams. So we're just going to put this whole thing in there. I love sour cream in a cake. Make sure to get it all in there. Same is true that if you're measuring it out of a cup, make sure you scrape it down really well. And we're also going to add our salt, which is a teaspoon. Alright. Mix this together. Scrape it down. Our batter is very liquidy right now at this point. Okay, so I just realized we were supposed to add the oil at the same time as the butter. Missed that step. And we are adding, what, a half cup? A fourth cup. A fourth cup of oil. I'm using olive oil. It requests a neutral oil. And I know that olive oil and lemon go really well together, so I figured that that's what I would do. And this olive oil has a built-in pouring spout. Isn't that fancy? So we'll add that in. Hopefully our cake doesn't absolutely fall apart. I think it'll be fine. Okay. And then next, we're going to add our lemon and the lavender. I'm just going to look through the instructions really quick just to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to make our flour mixture. And then we'll mix it all up, and then it'll be ready to bake. Alright. I don't think I can take this out of here. Let's see. We're doing a lot. We're doing it live. Alright. Just going to pour that in there. Everything smells good, but interesting at this point, because we have the lemons, the lavender, and the olive oil. I'm smelling all of those things. So we're going to go ahead and just mix this together. The instructions say not to worry if the batter separates. I don't know, at this point I feel like we're like just playing with soup. I'm like, did I add too much liquid at some point? It only calls for 3 cups of flour, is that enough? Okay. Alright, now for our dry ingredients, we are doing 3 cups of flour, or this says 384 grams. Oh, there we go. Alright, and we're also going to add in our teaspoon of baking powder. Now that's the thing. So we're just going to do half. And our half teaspoon of baking soda. Okay. And we're going to mix this together. Get any lumps out, make sure everything's homogenized. Okay, and then we're just going to just add all of this and mix it. Okay, now we're gonna start slow. Okay, so this is looking pretty well combined. Just gonna go around, make sure everything's in there. This is like my biggest fear when making bundt cakes. I do have a 12-cup bundt pan, but I still get really nervous because I've had cakes overflow. And I would say that's like, I mean, I guess there's worse things that can happen, but, you know, I don't know. I don't like that. That's always my concern when I'm doing a bundt cake. And then, of course, making sure everything bakes correctly. Okay. It smells good. It smells really olive oily. Maybe I should use vegetable oil. I'll let you know at the end. The instructions say just until combined, so we're not going to worry about the lumps. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and put this into our... Oh, like, that's a chunk of lemon. Okay, that's too much for me. That's too much for me. I'm not putting that in the cake. That's too much for me. I don't think anything else is that chunked up, but... Apparently some people say that it's pleasant, but that's too much for me. Oh. Alright. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and put this into our pan now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and butter and flour our bundt pan. Okay, I think the easiest way to do this is to use our brush. Take our softened butter here. Hopefully it's soft enough. We're just going to paint this into here. And we want this to be completely coated so that our cake comes out okay. Okay, so I feel like this is pretty good. We're going to add a pinch of flour, and I just like to shake it around, tap the pan, really just get it in every nook and cranny. Typically I do this over the sink. And we're gonna make sure we get the middle part too. I'm just gonna kind of just sprinkle that where I know it needs it, and then I'll put the excess in the sink. We're gonna go ahead and spoon our batter into our pan. It says spoon, but it's really liquidy, so hopefully I did everything right. So I think this looks pretty good. Hopefully it's not gonna overflow. Alright, now let's just tap this. Make sure that any large bubbles come out. This is like liquid. I don't know where the bubbles would be. Alright, so now we're gonna put it in the oven. And this bake time is 50 to 60 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out with moist crumbs. So we'll do 50 minutes and then we'll check on it, probably a little bit before that. Alright, and I will check in with you then. I was reading through the recipe as one should do multiple times, and I looked at this and knew that I was only supposed to do 3 of the lemons into the cake, and did 4, even though I read it like 6 times. So luckily I got extra lemon because we'll need that for the glaze, and then our cake will just be extra lemon. Do you guys ever just stare at your cake? It's definitely not overflowing, which is great. I don't want to open it because I don't want to mess up, you know, the balance there. But it looks good. I can see it's a little bit brown around the edges. It's got like 8 minutes left. I don't know. Should I just test it and see? Maybe it is. Maybe it's already almost ready. So it says brown on top with moist crumbs. I mean, I guess it's brown. It smells fantastic. Oh no, it's definitely still wet. So we're gonna let that finish its 8 minutes and then we'll check it. Okay, so our timer just went off. So let's see. I would say that that's a moist crumb. You know. That one's clean, so we're definitely gonna pull it out. And the instructions are to let it cool on a rack for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna flip it over. Can I get this with one hand? I can. Okay, I'm gonna test it again. Just 'cause. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So, cool. So in the meantime, all the little pieces of lavender, I'm so excited. We're gonna make our glaze. So we're gonna go ahead and make our glaze. I'm just gonna pull up the recipe. Alright, I believe it's 2 cups of powdered sugar. Yes, so 200 grams sifted. The bane of my existence. We're gonna go ahead and put our 200 grams in here. Okay, a little extra is okay. We're just making a glaze. I like to use a spoon and just kind of like push this through. I just feel like that's a little bit faster from trying to like get it all into the bowl. Okay, and then it just wants the juice of the lemon. So you're supposed to just have your lemon from before. You know, because you're only supposed to do 3 of the 4, but I did all 4. And so I like to roll any fruit. Oh, this is like leaking. To get all the juice kind of away from the rind. And then if you're cool, you have a juicer. If you're like me, you just do this. And we're just going to do 1/2, and then we're going to mix it and see if we need the other half. And then we're also supposed to put in a pinch of salt. So we will do that as well. Okay, so we're going to call that good for now. And yeah, it's not a lot of liquid, but we don't need a lot of liquid. Just enough so we can brush it onto the cake. But we're definitely going to need more of that. I'm going to add my pinch of salt while I'm thinking about it. And then we're going to put in some more lemon. Basically, if it gets too wet, then we have to add more powdered sugar. And you play that game. So we're gonna leave that. See how that does. Okay, so I think it's safe to add a little bit more lemon. I'm so excited to try this cake. Unfortunately, we have to wait till it cools completely because they want the glaze to be, you know, solid and nice looking. So we will do that as well. But yeah, we're gonna finish this. Once we unmold the cake in a few minutes, we're gonna go ahead and put on like a layer of glaze. And then after we put on that first layer, we'll wait until the cake pretty much cools. And then we'll add another layer of glaze. We will garnish it with some more lavender. And then taste it. This is a mess. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit more lemon juice because that was not enough. Extra lemons. I always, anytime I have a recipe that calls for lemon juice or zest, always get an extra lemon. Okay. You guys have seen me make icing before, so just know that this is not, you know, it's thick. It's a thick icing. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more lemon juice. So now we're at a lemon and a half. I feel like that's probably good, but I'm kind of ready to be done, to be honest. And this would have done lemon easier, you know, if it was all added at the same time. So I would say go ahead and add like a whole lemon. And then have another lemon. Oh, this is so thick. I think you need more. Let me dry my hand off. I feel bad for my whisk. You don't want it to be too thin though, because then it'll all just like run off the cake. But you want it to be thin enough so that there's no, you know, lumps of sugar. Because then the lumps of sugar will just be in your cake as well. Okay. I mean, I feel like it's almost been 10 minutes. Really, really solid glaze. This will be fine when the cake is warm. But we might need to add some more lemon for once the cake is cold. Let's go ahead and get this cake out of the pan. Alright, so hopefully this comes out easily. The pan is still warm. Oh wow. This is a lot softer than I thought it would be. Looks like it's pulling apart pretty well. Oh. Yeah. Oh, it's so cute! Oh my goodness! I did not think it would look this cute. I did not think this is the cutest bundt cake I've ever made in my life. Alright, so we have our glaze and our brush. So again, this is still super thick, but that's okay because our cake is super warm. Oh, it might be too thick. I don't want that. Okay, hold please. So it's a little bit thinner, but I'm just going to drizzle it on the top. Maybe I'll just use a spoon and see if it can just run down. See if it will just run down the cake for us. Learn from my mistakes. We want it to be like a smooth glaze, right? But this glaze is so thick. So it's definitely running. Problem is the cake is so soft that it sticks to the brush. Just a little therapy, right? And I'm sure, you know, if there's crumbs in it, whatever, it doesn't matter. It should dry pretty much clear anyway. So you wouldn't even be able to tell that there's crumbs in it. I'm just being a perfectionist. I did not think it would be this cute. I'm like very happy with how it came out. Oh, it's already drying. Interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna move a little bit faster. They did not say it would harden so quickly. But now we know, don't we? Also, it says that 1 lemon will give you 4 tablespoons of juice, which is just a lie. I most often find like 1 tablespoon of juice from a lemon. So we'll see. I mean, if it looks like this, once it's completely cooled, then we might not need to add another coat of glaze because this is plenty of sugar. I don't know if it's gonna be so cute. Okay, I don't want to go over the places I already did because it's kind of like breaking up what we have so far. I mean, it does say glaze immediately. I mean, I feel like I did the best I could. I feel like I glazed it pretty quickly. I did see some comments that people only used half the glaze. I can very easily see why. I might do the same. I just want it to look nice, so whatever that means. Yeah, I think we could have done a whole other lemon probably. At this point I'm just committed, but I would recommend doing an even thinner glaze, so do like 2 whole lemons. And then you probably get more of what the original recipe is looking for. You know, there's a picture in my head of what this should look like. I'm gonna put just a little bit more lemon in here. Do like a top coat. I feel like no matter how much lemon I add, it's still super thick, so I'm kind of confused. Yeah, we're just doing 1 coat of glaze at this point because we pretty much used it all, and I don't think we need to add more because look at the cake. Look at the cake! Well, I would say it's pretty much covered at this point. For better or for worse, right? Maybe a little bit more. You know, you probably don't even need glaze if you don't want glaze. I'm sure this cake is great without it. I'm just following the recipe, but you do you. Oh, fudge. Okay, now that we've covered this cake with 2 cups of powdered sugar, let's just go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of lavender on top. I don't know if this is going to make it look better or worse. Oh, it's too dry. Oh no. Oh no! Okay. Okay, so what if we just put like, I don't understand why this is drying so quickly. A little bit. Oh, I don't even, at this point. Oh my goodness, guys. I guess we could push it in a little bit. I can't believe how solid this glaze is. It's rusted. I'm also like wasting so much lavender doing this. What, I'm sure it's gonna taste amazing. It does look a little differently than I pictured, but you know what? That's okay. We're gonna let this cool and then I will come back and taste it. So the cake has been finished. And I would say it's still like a little bit warm, but whatever, that's fine. I was hoping that the glaze would kind of like smooth out. So my recommendation would definitely be to like use a thinner glaze next time. So let's go ahead and just do a little taste test. Let's go ahead and give this a little cut. Get our fancy plate. A little baby piece. Oh no! It's live! This is the first thing I had to use a fork for. Yep, it's good. I feel like I could have baked a little bit longer. I do think the lemon lavender is good, but it's not underbaked. You know, maybe it's because I added the extra lemon. It's good though. Make it. Try it. Let me know what you think. As always, please leave any questions or feedback or anything in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the video. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.